was supposed to be the one to replace David one day. He was killed. He was killed for an immoral act that was mentioned before, maybe does not deserve to be killed.
Well, sorry, I was thinking about that afterwards. Was it a sister? Was that
So this is an issue that we discussed when we presented the story. Most likely, Amnon was not halachic brother in any way or shape to Tamar. The reason why they are called Achoti because they grew up from a very young age together, and therefore the relationship were as brother and father. It's not so clear halachically what exactly happened, but according to Chazal, she was the daughter of Eshet Yefat Toar, which is not related exactly to her mother, and therefore is not his sister. But apparently, according to the Pshat, she brought her to the marriage from another person, and Amnon was from a different mother and father, so they apparently were not related at all. And as we explained the first time, actually what she thought when he invited her to his room was that he is going to offer her marriage, because she was a daughter, adopted daughter of David. He was a son of David. So the whole situation was something that happened normally in the family. As I said, Yonadav was very, very smart. He staged the whole thing as a very innocent thing where everyone, David, Tamar, the people in the house who left the room, they all thought that they are a part of something very innocent, that maybe he's going to offer her marriage or something like this. This is more easier way to understand the halachic issues there.
Yeah. Is there any discussion in Chazal about the name Tamar and Yehuda?
Yes, and we are going to see that we are going to see it in our parak again. There might be some connection to, I would say, relationship inside the family.
I mean, the stories are somewhat similar.
Right. You know, the names in the Tanakh are a very interesting topic by itself. I mean, for a series of classes. Names in the Tanakh are not always the real names of the characters playing in it. And many, many times the Torah actually gives name according to a purpose, a situation. We find, interestingly enough, that all the names of the Meraglim, for example, are not nice names. Like, they are not nice. They are not like inspiring like the Rashi Shvatim in the Nesiim, Netanel, Eliasaph ben Deuel, all very positive ones. And the Torah many, many times changed the names in a way that represent more the character of the person rather than a technical name. Think even about the name of Moshe. It was not the name that his mother gave him upon birth or in the Brit, because it was given only later. Because it really represents his character. He was taken from the water, but more than that, eventually he took Bnei Israel from their tzarot, from their galut. So the name Moshe represent actually the main character of Moshe Rabbeinu, when according to Chazal his name was Avigdor, he was like other few names. Or Yitro, for example, who Yiter Parasha Achat B'Torah, his real name, as the Torah itself mentioned elsewhere, was Chovav or Yeter. So the Torah gives the name sometimes as she wish, because the characters are eternal. It's not a story about a certain person. It's about a situation that will repeat itself and repeat itself every generation. So the names also represent this a phase of eternity, not only a certain person name. And in Divrei Yamim, you can see the list, which is very interesting. Most people are skipping list. You know, Parashat Truma, a long list of kelim. It looks like a manual of IKEA, like the menorah, do it like this. The Aron, do it like that. So lists, we tend to ignore, especially when it comes to numbers and long thing that has no inspiration. But if we read the list, some of them are really interesting, like the way the Torah put it and change things, and we compare it to other lists, especially in Divrei Yamim. We might find very, very interesting things that the Tanakh want to encourage us to be learners of Tanakh. Not to see only in one place, but to compare it to others. But as I say, this is a different...
You went to Divrei Yamim, I might find another name for Tamar?
Maybe. For the Tanakh, it's the story about issues in the family. It's which the story of Tamar is very similar. So, you know, we don't know. We don't have documents to prove it this way or another. I'm just saying that many times it's not exactly the name, but this is not the topic right now. So, Avshalom is running away because he knows that he did something wrong. He killed his brother. He was his brother from the father, obviously. He knew apparently that it was not right. Okay, he had to be punished, but David did nothing. He's not the king yet. He's just the brother. You have a court, you have a system. You don't like kill a person for raping your sister. You know, it's very painful. But it's, again, a repetition of the story of Shem, and even Yaakov was very, very upset on his children. Ma atem osim? It's not, I mean, what happened, but you cannot just go on the city and kill every person for the misdeeds of one person there. We are a nation that respects law and order. We don't say, you know, we don't care, we just kill on left and right. It's not the right thing to do.
Rabbi Gemara, I have a question. If Avshalom is the brother of Tamar, and Tamar is not David's daughter, then how can Avshalom be in line for the throne?
No, Avshalom was his son. Avshalom was a son. You see, Avshalom and Tamar were from the same mother, not from the same father, right? Yeah, it's like the complicated sugyot in Masechet Yevamot, where you have like these unbelievable cases where the grandfather is also the uncle and the uncle and the grandson and the and everyone in one person. The uncle, the grandson, the grandfather, everyone. So you have this kind of interesting cases. So here, he and her were from the same mother. He and Amnon were from the same father. But she and Amnon possibly were not. But there was one more issue that I hinted to last time, that Avshalom ran away because he was afraid what his father thinks about the whole incident. It was Amnon in the party, and he killed Amnon. Now, Yonadav told David that it was a result of what happened between him and Tamar. But no one told Avshalom that Yonadav managed to calm down David. So Avshalom must think, what my father think about the whole incident? He will hear that I killed Amnon. And you know what David might think through the mind of Avshalom? You understand what we try to do here? Sometimes you have to think through the mind of someone else. So David was calmed down by Yonadav, but Avshalom was not there to hear that Yonadav convinced David that it was only because of Tamar. So to Avshalom, he think, what my father think at this moment? My father might think that I wanted to kill him. Because David will say, oh, he pressed me so hard to come to the party. Why did he press me so hard? And eventually, okay, it was Amnon. he wanted to kill me, which is possible. How do I know that it's possible? Because if you wait one perek, after we will end perek Yudal, that's exactly what Avshalom tried to do. Avshalom was a tough character. So Avshalom, and especially when you want to do something really in your heart, you are afraid that the other person will think like you. You know this feeling? When we think in a certain way, we think that all the world think this way. You know, when we have like a hole in the in our clothes, we're sure that everyone is looking at it. No one cares, but we think because we are terrified by it or feel uncomfortable, so we think everyone just look there that you have like something or a dirt or something. So we have to think what Avshalom think. He's in Kshur. He doesn't know what happened between him and David, and he believed that if his father is smart enough, he will think that he tried to kill him. And therefore, he's afraid to come back to Yerushalayim. And you are going to see in this perek. When I said it in the previous perek, I had a feeling, but you know what? You are going to see that even when Avshalom comes back to Yerushalayim, he does it almost by force. Not because he wanted. He was afraid that David will kill him. Yes.
What's the connection between him killing, Avshalom killing Amnon and Avshalom killing David? Because
I'll tell you why.
Amnon wasn't really in line for the throne or anything. It's not a question of the throne.
It's a very good question. On top of it, the end of the last perek was that David actually, his heart went to see Avshalom again. He longed to him. Avshalom, as we are going to see, enjoyed something very, very important, charisma. And I think that the moment he killed Amnon, it was quite clear who is going to be the next king, even to David. And what Avshalom saw was the weakness of David. A weakness that David himself was aware of. You see how it goes. David blamed himself for everything that happened after the Chet of Bathsheba, and actually the Navi told him that Cherev lo tasur mi beito. He became quite passive, debilitated from doing, to be the David that he used to be. Avshalom is a person with charisma, with ability to be a king, and they see this weakness, a weakness that culminated to him when he did not do anything after his own daughter was raped. To Avshalom, it was a clear sign that David is off the stage. A king that cannot react to something immoral as this, yes, he was very angry, but he never did anything to Amnon. For Avshalom, it was a clear sign that David is finished. The famous David, the moral, the courageous, end of story. So someone has to be the king. It will be Avshalom. And that's exactly, we are going to see how it develops, how the story develops. And indeed Avshalom at this point believed that he is the person that's supposed to be the king. David has to go down.
But my question was, why would he think that David thinks he wants to kill him? Because maybe he knows that
because I'll remind you the discussion between them before he killed Amnon. He goes to David, please come, please come. No, I don't want to come. Please, it's so important for me. Please come, please come. Okay, you know what? If you can't come, at least do me a favor. Send me Amnon. No, Amnon should not go. Why do you need it? No, please, it's very important. He sends Amnon, he kills Amnon. Okay, retrieving this discussion, David think, wait a second. Actually, it was not supposed to be Amnon there at all. If he would be lucky, it would be me. He wanted to kill me. That's why he pursued me. He couldn't kill me. Okay, he will kill the next in line and scare me or something like this. So, you know, we have to read the story through the eyes of Avshalom too. But let's start Perek Yud and some of these cheshbonot, computations, we are going to maybe reflect upon reading Perek Yud. וידע יואב בן צרויה כי לב המלך על אבשלום. Yoav was very loyal and very close to David. And he knew exactly like what happened in the heart of David. Maybe David saw that, yes, it was not right to do it, but after all, Amnon deserved it in a way. But at the same time, he knew that David is not stupid. If he is going to bring back Avshalom with no punishment, he is going to lose status that he still have among the people around him. Like he is going to pardon a murderer. Yoav understand very well that although David maybe want Avshalom back and to bring him back to the political arena, he cannot just call Avshalom back after he did something as horrible as killing his brother and not being punished. And Yoav is quite concerned about the whole situation. I'll tell you one thing about Yoav. Yoav really cares about David, and he really appreciates David, and he really wants David to be a king. Over the history of the relationship between Yoav and David, we always see an unbelievable loyalty to David from the time of Shaul, but we see then that he tries to convince David that he has to kill Shaul. Remember the story when he could kill David in the end of Shmuel Aleph, and David says, B'shum panim va'ofen, the idea of David was always, I don't take anything forcefully. By the way, the first time that he took something forcefully, the story of Bathsheba, from there on, it's a downhill. But until then, David always behaved, Hashem will give me what I deserve, I don't take anything to myself. Yoav is more impulsive. He sometimes neglects to see the results of what he is doing. Even if he does it out of love and respect and care about David, he many times, as we said a few times already, that Yoav and David are portrayed as the opposite characters. When David is great, Yoav is portrayed as the person who is not. When David is weak, stayed behind in Yerushalayim, Yoav is the hero, the person who fights for Am Yisrael and actually invites David to take the fame of conquering Moab, and he holds the war until David will come. So David and Yoav are two great people, but somehow they are always on a scale. When one is up, the other one is down. And here Yoav see the king, the David HaMelech, and he cannot take it. The way the whole thing is, he does not control his house. Avshalom, who apparently is going to be the next in line, is away. David actually wants to see him, but he cannot. So Yoav tried to find a way how to resettle the life of David and to see him again as the king. And he's doing something very, very smart. Vayishlach Yoav Tekoa. He's going to Tekoa. Chadal say that Tekoa was the place where, unfortunately this week we heard about Tekoa, the girl who was killed in Jerusalem. It's such a terrible thing. And they came from the same place, Tekoa, as today. So he's going to Tekoa, and Chazal are telling us that in the area of Tekoa there were many olives. It was a very rich place with oil. The people used to eat lots of oil, olive oil, and olive oil has this capacity of making you smarter. I don't know if it's true or not, but Chazal say that It was all because the olive oil. Okay. So, ויקח משם אישה חכמה. And he was looking, apparently there was a very smart woman in Tekoa that everyone knew about. She was smart. Maybe people came to ask her questions or whatever it was. I don't know what it is. This women, when I was in Israel, there is Rabbanit Kanievsky. Did you hear about Rabbanit Kanievsky? I never heard about it until I came to Israel. Everyone has all kinds of questions, all kinds of stories. They go to Rabbanit Kanievsky. She's sitting in Bnei Brak. She's going to Tfilat Shacharit, I don't know, Vatikin, and she stayed there for 3 hours. All the women from Bnei Brak, Modi'in, or they all come to her. Isha Chachama. Okay, she gives brachot for all kinds of things. Okay. So apparently she was a famous woman, and Yoav had the talk with her. Vayomer Elea, listen, I need you to do something quite important for the kingdom. Itablina velivshina bigdei evel. You see, we are close to Purim. So he said, you know, let's do some costume here, and I'll tell you what to do. It says we are going to have a little spiel here. Make yourself like mourning. Velivshina bigdei evel, apparently black suits, and ve'al tasuchi shemen, like don't use cosmetics, so you are going to look like a person who doesn't care about her appearance. והיית כאישה זה ימים רבים מתאבלת על מת. Look like a woman that is completely broken and for many days is mourning over her son. ובאת אל המלך ודיברת אליו כדבר הזה. And he now give her the script. וישם יואב את הדברים בפיה. He give her the exact script what to say to the king. So if he gave her the script what to say to the king, why she has to be chachama? The answer is that it's not a show that the king is going just to watch and to applaud at the end. It's something that might to develop to a discussion. And she needs to be smart to address the concern of the king because he's going to do something quite incredible. So it's, you know, there is a show when you have the script and you have to be a great actor or actress. But sometimes there is like this comedian, you know, or people who are doing, they stage.
Impromptu.
Yeah, and they have to, like on the spot, they will start like a discussion and we'll have to give you a joke or like to play something by their own. So he needed Isha Chachama, not only a great actress who is going to give her the script, but she has to be smart, and if David is going to ask her questions, she will be able to answer it. So to leave the play, you know, they say that a great actor is someone who put himself in the shoes, in the character of the person he plays. ותאמר האישה התקועית אל המלך. So she's going to the king, and you know, this is one interesting thing that David was listening to everyone. He was a king, was first of all the chief judge. People came to him in all kinds of difficult issues. And she managed to come to David HaMelech. It was apparently, she said, I must to see the king, I must to see the king. You know, in our days, it's hard to believe how a woman will make her way to the prime minister directly, but apparently by David HaMelech, he actually was looking for these people, oppressed people, people with trouble that cannot solve it by themselves, and she made her way to the king. ותיפול על הפה הארצה, ותשתחו, ותאמר הושיע המלך. Hoshana, like you must help me. It's a terrible thing. ויאמר לה המלך מלך. Well, what's the story? Tell me the story. What happened? By the way, in this moment, she already, like, you can see how smart she is. You know, the king, once you ask a question, you are engaged. You know, question is a very important way to engage people. So that's why the whole Leila Seder is about question. We want to engage the kids. So they have to ask questions. We caught them to ask. And she managed to do it. She engaged the king. She caught his interest and attention. And the moment he said malach, it's invitation that she will be able now to present her case. ותאמר, אבל אישה אלמנה אני וימות אישי. What is the aval? Aval is bat. What is the bat? I'll tell you what I think, how to read this pasuk, which is a hard one. By the way, this parak on the pshat level is quite hard. I think that he said malach. Malach is not. Yes, he asked a question, but it's a very impatient question. Like, what's the story? Like, tell me what happened. I'm so sorry. Wow, you look so awful. Malach, what's the story? So she was afraid that maybe he's not going to be engaged in the story. Because there is a difference if you present your case and someone is lending you like empathetic ear and he wants to hear your story. But when a person like you manage to come and he say, what's the story? Then like he's not interested to hear too much. So she said, but you don't see why I'm here? Like my appearance is telling you everything. That I'm a widow, וימות אישי, ולשפחתך שני בנים. I had 2 children. וינצו שניהם בשדה, and they fought over something in the field. ואין מציל ביניהם. There was no person to come in between. ויכו האחד את האחד, וימת אותו. One of them managed to kill his brother, the other one. והנה קמה כל המשפחה עליי, על שפחתך. And the tragedy was coupled because after they killed him, the entire family now came to me. ויאמרו תני את מכה אחיו ונמיתהו בנפש אחיו אשר הרג. Give us the other brother, we want to kill him for killing our brother. ונשמידה גם את היורש. And we are going to kill this person who is now one of the Yorshim of me, the old lady, and his father. So normally when the father died, the almanah got his property, and the children were the next one to get the property. So she said, they want to kill him because he's one of the Yorshim, he's one of the people who are going to inherit me. וחיבו את גחלתי, and if they will manage to do it, they are going to kill the only son that I have. אשר נשארה לבלתי שים לאישי, שם לאישי, שם הוא שארית על פני האדמה. By killing him, actually it's not only against him, it's against my late husband, because he's going to be with no one to continue his family, something that especially in the time, the old time, the inheritance, the fields, the lands, the estate, if there was no one to get it from the family, the direct family of the deceased, it went back to the family. So she presented the case in a very interesting way. We are going to see what are the buttons that she pressed. It's very, this speech is one of the greatest speech that we have in the Tanakh. ויאמר המלך אל האישה, לכי לביתך, ואני אצווה עלייך. Go home, I'll take care. I will make the אצווה עלייך, I will instruct my soldiers, my officers, my people, what to do with you. So first of all, let's see what the button, as I said, that she presses. What are the main points that she's telling David? Number one, my 2 sons fought with each other. Okay, that happened. In the Tanakh, it happened many times. How does she portray her family? Why is she so, why the case is so tragic? Why actually she want to save this son? What's the point that she raised in Pasuk Zayin?
That's continuity of the
So
father.
first of all, the last issue is continuity. So even if he deserves to be killed, because he killed his brother, but there is a side issue here. He is the last one in the family to continue the tradition, the heritage of my late husband. So even if he deserved it by what he did, there is another issue here that I want you, the king, to get involved. Because here is a very important point. The king has this authority to sometimes veer from the pure halacha. He can kill people in places where the halacha does not permit it to the court. He can do it for certain reasons.
Did the younger kill the older or the other way around?
I'm sorry?
Did the younger son kill his
He
older
doesn't
brother?
say here. He doesn't say. Why do you ask this question?
Because natural inheritance would have been to the older boy.
Well, you have to remember here something very, very important. They were, the way she presented, there were only two brothers.
Yeah.
If now they are going to kill the second one is killed. If they are going to kill the second one, all the estate, the inheritance after she will die, is going to the family. And you see how she portrays her family. What are they interested in actually?
Money.
The money, right? It's not so much about like justice, but the family is talking. She put the word "venashmida et hayoresh." Why doesn't she say, and we kill the chayav, the person with the wicked? What is the yoresh? Yerusha is about money. So she wants to tell David, you know, the whole fight here is not like about like justice. It's about the money. It's about a side issue. They are bad people. They put on me pressure not because they are interested in justice. They are interested to satisfy their own greed. Yeah. I must say that upon reading this story, it reminded me another story. The way she plays or tells a story to David, we know that it's a story that never happened, but it's actually, she put a very interesting buttons here. She wanted to remind David another famous story. Which story? Cain and Abel. And I'll show you two places where it's quite clear. Do we care where one killed the other one? She said it was in the field. But you know, she just wants to say one was killed, now they want to kill the other one. Who cares where he killed him? Because the story of Cain and Abel, two brothers who killing each other, is happening in the field. Vayhi biyotam basadeh, vayakom Cain al Abel vayargeu. So the story, she parallels it to the story of Cain and Abel. We are going to see for what reason. The other one is very interesting. When Hashem asked Cain the famous question, Ei Hebel achicha? So he say, you know, Hashomer achi anochi. And then Hashem punishes him. So Cain said, Gadol avonim inso. Rashi said, my sin is that great that you cannot bear, you cannot take? And gerashta oti hayom me'al pnei adama. You are going to send me away from the face of earth. Where am I going to go? So the expression al pnei adama appears also here. וחיבו את גחלתי אשר נשארה לבלתי שים לאישי שם ושארית על פני האדמה. Exactly the same expression. So we have the basade, the scenery is the same. And then it's about al pnei adama. What is going to stay here on the face of earth? What is the idea? Why do you think she want to remind this story of Cain and Abel? What does she gain by this?
Sorry, just to change this completely. Were they her actual children?
No, it's a whole fabricated story. She fabricates a story.
She just.
I mean, it's
she-
Yoav, tell her what
Yeah.
to say to the king. Yeah, you see, we are going to speak about the idea here of telling stories to David HaMelech, because I'm sure that David HaMelech said, oh, it happened to me again. Remember the story of Natan, he telling him a whole story about the Shepsel and the Ish Arash and the Ish Ashir, and then he say, this person is such a wicked, Arbatayim Yeshalem, and then he say to him, it's about you.
Yeah.
And now she's going to do the same. She's telling him a whole story about her own children, and then she said, that's you. You have two children, one killed the other one, right? And I'm sure that David like said, oh, it happened, deja vu all over again. What's going on here? Like once Natan is telling me a story I did not understand, it's about me, and now she tells me a story. What happened to me? I'm completely forkalech. What's happened? So, so we are going to speak about this aspect of like how David is such a tamevat, like he doesn't understand what's going on here. Most of it we are going to do next week, but I just want to draw your attention. But what is the point of paralleling it to the story of Cain and Abel?
Well, Cain killed his brother,
Right,
and he was punished.
right.
He wasn't killed. He
And?
wasn't killed.
Exactly.
So we understand the brother should be punished, but not be killed.
Even Hashem himself eventually did not kill Cain for his murder. Because apparently these issues were in stake. If he's going to kill Cain, then who is going to stay? You finished like all the people, like, okay, Adam v'Chava, and that's it. Okay, later they had indeed another son, Shet, that we all his descendants. But basically, Hashem himself understands that he cannot kill Cain. You are not greater than Hashem. If Hashem found the way to forgive David, to forgive Cain, can't you find like the forgiveness for Absalom? So I think that's the idea why she actually remind David the story of Cain and Abel, because she tried to come to a point where he's going to pardon Absalom for what he did. Yes.
Then it seems like Yoav was, it seems from this that Yoav wasn't taking any chances that David might want to kill Absalom, but the first pasuk says, and Yoav knew that he longed for Absalom. So how does it, if he knew he longed for him, why was he worried that he wants to kill him? Why does he send her to make it like that you shouldn't kill him? If he has no intention at all, he knows that.
That's the most important question in this perek. And since I see that I will not be able to prove this point, I will just throw it because it's very, very important. David was caught between what is right and what he wants, like it happened to him before. He wanted Absalom to come back. At the same time, morally, he cannot do it. As I say, this will be a very bad signal to everyone that the king is willing to forgive a murderer. I mean, how this message is going to resonate, especially with a person like David, who was known for to be like the master of justice. So Yoav is trying here to give him the ladder to get down the tree of the high moral stand of David. That's exactly why he takes this woman, and we are going to speak about this, why he doesn't come before David to tell him this story. I mean, it sounds very reasonable. Yoav had to say, David, we have to talk. You know, that does not make any sense, the whole issue. You know, you have to be a king, a full king, you have to do so and so. He sent the Isha. And you know, it reminds me also the story about Abigail. Remember, he wanted to kill Naval. Who saved the day? His wife, Abigail. There is something that the Tanakh is telling us here about the wisdom of women. And I think, I'm not sure about it, but I have a very strong feeling that the Tanakh is telling us that when it comes to politics of men, there is a lack of this dimension of thinking like emotionally, more with passion, more with understanding, with the wisdom of the heart. When you talk about like males and men, the considerations are very different. It was only Abigail who could stop it in a very different way of thinking of David. David is like wearing the weapons and he's going to kill Naval and take an oath that until morning no one will stay alive in the house of Naval, including his dogs. Remember, like afilu mashtin baki, everyone is going to be killed. Abigail comes and she speaks to him in a completely different way. She says, listen, you know, you're right. However, if you are going to do it, everyone will say that the future king took it by force and by bloodshed. Just wait. Now, I think that no man could give David this idea, like to calm him down and to think a little bit out of the box. And the same story is happening here. Yoav take this Isha because he knew that the woman might hit a point that he cannot deliver. That in the world of men, you cannot really deliver well this point of mercy, of forgiveness. He needs something more emotional that will talk, reasonably. That's why he takes Isha Chachama and not just someone who is crying, no, just forgive him. So he found this combination of Isha Chachama that on one hand was Isha and Chachama. And he knew that this is a winning card, as it was. ויאמר המלך אל האישה, לכי לביתך ואני אצווה עלייך, and here she's a little bit concerned. Because it looks like he did not get the message. He really believed her. She played it too well. So, what are you doing now? So, ותאמר האישה התקועית אל המלך, עלי אדוני המלך העוון ועל בית אבי, והמלך בכיסאו נקי. Do you understand what she said to him? No. She said, I'm taking the blame on myself. What did that mean? She tried to gain time. Now, the reaction of David might be, okay. You know, like we do sometimes, someone asks us for something, and the best way just to get rid of this nudnik is to say, yeah, go home. I'll take care of it. Okay. I guess that everyone in his career had these people. Okay, just I'll take care of it. And then you would just forget about it. So, but here, you have a real problem. She knows that it's a little bit unreasonable to ask the king just, to consider the situation and, to say, okay, I'll pardon him. There is a pasuk in the end of Vayikra which is very, very important to know. The Torah says that one thing cannot be just ignored or overlooked or just taking it too lightly. The Torah says that if there is a killing, a murder, and you don't do all the efforts to punish the person who did it, it's a reason why the dam, the blood of the deceased person is going to hunt you. And the people on the land of Israel cannot take innocent blood. And the Torah warns us that oy va'avoy, if we allow murderers, dam naki, to be spilled for no reason. And therefore, she's afraid that the king said, go home, but honestly, I cannot do anything about it. If someone killed his brother with no reason, then my job as the king of Israel is actually to punish him, not to go the other way around. And therefore, she comes and says, I know what you are afraid of. You are afraid that the curse of ignoring innocent blood is going to be upon you, the king. So I take it instead. Alai Adoni Amelech Avon. It's going to be on me. Your you ignoring the innocent blood, it's going to be on me and Beit Avi. והמלך וכיסאו נקי. Which show you how smart she was. She knew exactly what bothers David and she was afraid about it. Remember the story about Rivka when she tells Yaakov, you go, you cheat your father, I will take his cares upon me. It was quite common that if someone had to do something and he was afraid of the outcome, then someone would take thank you so much, will take the responsibility upon him, the consequences upon him, and that's what she tried to do here. ויאמר המלך המדבר אלייך והביא אותי אליי, ולא יוסיף עוד לגעת בך. If someone will come and say anything to you, bring him to me. I will make justice. And again, she's not very, very happy. ותאמר יזכור נא המלך את השם אלוקיך מהרבות גואל אדם לשחט ולא ישמידו את בני. She insists that he will not just tell her go home and I will make sure, because this was not enough. And I think that in a genius way she is bringing him to the next words. That's what she wanted to hear. ויאמר חי השם אם יפול משערת בנך ארצה. He takes an oath. This is a very different story now. He takes an oath that nothing will happen to him. Now she knows that he is serious. A person who takes Shvuah b'Hashem, and I think that actually she led David to this point until she had like, you know, a mark to reach. This was that the king will take an oath that nothing will happen to her. That's exactly where she led David. So to David, maybe she sounded like a nudnik, and she was, because she's continuing. Oh, no, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And at the end, to get rid of this nudnik, he take an oath. I swear in God, nothing is going to happen. Mission accomplished. Because from now on, he's committed to his decision. She was afraid that the moment she's going to reveal to him that it's not about her children, it's all fabricated, it's all like a Bobemaises, he will say, okay, so forget about it. The moment he took a Shvuah, he could not go back. And that's exactly the point she wanted to bring David to. ותאמר האישה תדברנה שפחתך אל אדוני המלך דבר ויאמר דברי. And you can see that David really thought that she's a nudnik. Because he's not, oh, you have anything more? Dabri, okay, just say it and נמאס לי כבר. Go. I don't want to hear anything. You see the response of David, דברי, okay, דברי ותלכי. ותאמר האישה, by the way, you know, I thought about something. I didn't hear it from anybody, but I think there is something very interesting here. What is the Shvuah said? אם יפול משערת ראשו ארצה. Like not even a hair is going to fall from his from him. It's like 100% guaranteed to be safe. But there is something very profound here. Why? Because who is the person that he's talking about? It's Avshalom. Now, if you see Pasuk, Pasuk Chavav, it's talking about the hair of Avshalom. Very interesting. Avshalom was famous with his hair. Remember when he killed, I'm sure that you read the story, his hair, his beautiful hair was stuck in the Eilah, in the tree, and he was killed. He was very like, everyone knew that the most impressive part of Avshalom was his hair. I mean, David at this point does not know that he talks basically about Avshalom, but it's interesting that the Tanakh already give us a hint that David HaMelech was speaking about Avshalom. Lo yipol misa'arat rosho arza. Why should that, not a drop of blood? He talks about the se'arot because it shows us that David did not even guess that he's talking about Avshalom. He used the word se'arot, which is about Avshalom, and does not see that it's about him. He was so removed. She was so skillfully deceived him that he did not even see when he said the word Sarat Rosho, who is a person with a sarot, who was known all over with his beautiful hair. It's Avshalom. Maybe, I don't know. So, ותאמר האישה תדבר נא שפחתך אל אדוני המלך דבר, ויאמר דבר. ותאמר האישה, ולמה חשבת כזאת על עם אלוהים? Very nice. But you know, this story is about Am Elohim, about Am Israel, about the kingdom. ומדבר המלך הדבר הזה כהשם. What you say, you actually make yourself to blame. לבלתי ישיב המלך את נידחו. That you don't want to return a person who left, the brother who left. It's about you. And here she's going to a philosophical argument. כי מות נמות. We all going to die. וחמיים הניגרים ארצה אשר לא יאספו. Listen, I mean, yes, the blood was shed, like there is nothing to do about it. But the same way that you cannot bring back water that was spilled, you cannot bring back the deceased Amnon. ולא יישא אלוהים נפש. And God is not forgiving for people who did grave things. וחשב מחשבות לבלתי יידח ממנו נידח. Is God does not think about people that, you know, they will not lose any remnant to their family, like happened with Cain? That's how most of the Mfarshim explain that she's asking him a rhetoric question. Not everyone agree upon it. There are many perushim about what she said, because she's going to all kind of philosophical ideas. ועתה אשר באתי לדבר אל המלך, I came to talk to you about it. את הדבר הזה כי יראני העם. ותאמר שפחתך, אדברנה אל המלך. So she said, I was afraid of the nation. What does that mean? So some of the Mfarshim, the Malbim, said, I was afraid that the nation will take it in a very bad way, your behaviors. So I came actually to help you. אולי יעשה המלך את דבר אמתו. Maybe you will listen to me and do what I'm asking you to do. כי ישמע המלך להציל את אמתו מכף האיש להשמיד אותי. The same way that you wanted to save me from the people around me, ואת בני יחדיו יחד מנחלת אלוהים, the same way that you understood that you have to save me and to save my son, the same way, ותאמר שפחתך יהיינה דבר אדוני המלך למנוחה. I will bring you to a state of rest. You know, it's about time to resolve this issue. כי כמלאך האלוהים כן אדוני, you are like an angel, and therefore you have to be in the best way or status you can. אדוני המלך לשמוע הטוב והרע, והשם אלוקיך יהי עמך. The truth is that many of the Mefarshim are completely confused with what she said. I tried to explain it in the Derech of Pshat, but apparently she started to say all kinds of things that have no connection. She started with philosophy. You cannot return the dead person. Okay, but if it's so, why the Torah actually say to kill a person who killed another person? So it doesn't make so much sense. Then she's going to apologize why she came in front of the king. And indeed, this was the point that the Mefarshim explain why David asked her, tell me, was Yoav involved in all this? Because the moment the script was over, she did not know what to say. She started to say all kind of things that makes no sense together. And therefore he understood that, you know, it's not her. Someone gave her this idea. And he asked her if it was Yoav. Next class, we are going to understand why he suspected Yoav from all people. Well, why he suspected Yoav. We are going to see it in the next shiur, and we are going to see a new insight. We are going to reread it with a new insight into this story. So next week, B'ezrat Hashem, Monday, thank you very much, and Erev Tov. I hope that we will all cross this coming storm safely.
Should we push it off a bit, is that getting too close tomorrow?
Say it again?
Getting too close, too little window between Marv and the shul.
It is?
Push it off a half hour.
To 7:30?
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay with me.
That would be fantastic.
7:30 would be fantastic?
Why?
Because it would be fantastic.
So, Mr. Forman, 7:30 next week?
I like
Let's make it
that.
7:15.
7:15? All in favor of 7:15? Okay,
7:15, I'll just mark it
not a
down.
problem. Okay,
You're going to send an email.
I am? Yes, I'm going to send an email. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yoy!
Yeah, oh, yes, right.
Okay.